Hi, it's Pastor Paul Anderson from the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Triumphal Thursday. Oh man, what a wonderful day. We've just come off of Worshipful Wednesday. You can't help but be triumphal on today's date. And we're so grateful that God has given us a triumphal word for us on today. Look with me in the book of Acts, the 9th chapter, verses 10 through 19. A very interesting passage that comes to us today is one whereby God calls a man, asks him to do something with someone else that he probably did not want to do, but it took God telling him to do it. Today, we begin to read about the story of a man by the name of Saul of Tarsus. So what happens, the first thing that we see in here is that God called him by name. God calls Ananias. He said, Ananias, I want you to do something. And Ananias said, sure, Lord, whatever you ask me to do, I'll be willing to do it. You know, I always tell people, whenever you say, Lord, whatever you ask me to do, I'll be willing to do it. You don't know what he might ask, but always be willing to say yes to whatever he asks you to do, because he will guide you down the right road. Secondly, he says, I want you to go over to Straight Street. I thought that was so interesting how the passage is written. He said, go over to Straight Street. So Ananias gets up, he goes directly over to Straight Street, and God says, when you get there, I want you to meet a man by the name of Saul of Tarsus. I can hear Ananias in my own mind saying, hold up, God, wait a minute. Do you know who he is? Like God doesn't know. Of course, God knows who he is. He says, I want you to go over to Straight Street. I want you to meet this man, Saul of Tarsus, because thirdly, you must do something for him. You must pray for him. Ananias is going like, you want me to pray for him? Wait a minute, God. I know who the man is. Everybody knows. He has a reputation. His reputation is that he has been given letters from the high priest, from the council, that he can persecute whoever he wants and sentence them to death if he so wills. Ananias says, okay, but God, if you ask me to go, I'll go. And so what happens is that the Lord tells Ananias, go over there, meet this man, and then I want you to pray for him. Fourthly, he says, I want you to pray for him and then spend some time with him. So when he gets over there, he finds out that Saul of Tarsus has been blinded because he's just had the Damascus Road experience. He has lost his vision, and now he needs Ananias, who is God's anointed man, to put his hands on him, to pray for him and teach him the ways of God. Ananias spends about 3 days with him, and in the process of time, Ananias lays his hands on Saul of Tarsus' head. His sight is now regained, and the Bible says it was as though scales fell from his eyes. My brothers and sisters, the truth of the matter is, when you and I go and do what God has asked us to do, regardless of people's reputation, regardless of how evil we feel they might be, it is then that God will allow us to impart unto them the truths of God's richest scriptures, and that is his love, his compassion, and salvation through and by Jesus Christ. Today, when God calls your name, say, yes, Lord, whatever you ask me to do, I'll do it. You can do it. I'm standing here right now. I'm a living witness. If we do what God has asked us to do, he will give you success along the way. And success is defined by saying, I have said yes to his will. Nothing else matters other than yes to God's will. May God bless you on this triumphal day that God has allowed us to see this Thursday. And I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.